Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first event of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce in Singapore's Franchising in the Philippines. This is our first online event for the year, and we are very excited to bring this all to you, both here in Singapore and overseas. Today, we have a very esteemed selection of speakers. We have all these very inspiring people who have put up businesses in the Philippines and who are now going to share this opportunities that they have created over the years with our overseas Filipinos and other people who are interested in the franchising business. So first of all, I would like to call on to welcome everyone and to get 2023 started, the president of PNB Singapore. She's the regional head of PNB Asia and Oceania. She is a business consultant, speaker and lecturer for various international conferences relating to finance. She is also a devoted PhilCham member
PhilCham
and leader here in
President
Singapore.
Ms.
And because of that, was
and the
awarded
other
with the Presidential Banaag Award in 2021 by the government and is currently our president. It gives me much pleasure to call on Ms. Christy Vicentina.
Thank you, Tats. Maraming salamat. Together with our fellow founding members of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce in Singapore, mabuhay. Happy New Year, and thank you for joining us this afternoon as we bring you another episode of PhilCham Business Series, this time franchising in the Philippines. We wish to walk you through the business model of franchising alongside with some success stories that can be potential business opportunities for all of us in the near future. It is our hope that this afternoon and this session will allow us to weigh the advantages and disadvantages of franchising, particularly in the Philippines, and to help us formulate better investment decisions should we decide to act on our thoughts one day. We invited esteemed speakers who have agreed to join us today from the Philippine Embassy Singapore, the Philippine Franchise Association, and the Philippine Trade and Investment Center Singapore to share with us how they can assist us for our franchising journey. So please key in your questions or comments in the comment box. At the end of the session, please also help us to fill up the survey forms that we have been sharing to help us create a more meaningful business series in the future together with the Philippine Chamber of Commerce in Singapore. So let us all have a good afternoon and mabuhay. Back to you, Tats.
Thank you, Christy. And now I would like to introduce our Consul General and charge the affairs of the Embassy of the Philippines here in Singapore, and one of our most fervent supporters, Dr. Emmanuel Fernandez.
PhilCham President Ms. Christy Vicentina, and the other officers of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce Singapore. Our guest speakers this afternoon, namely Ms. Cheryl Quintana, Chairperson of the Philippine Franchising Association, Ms. Vel Manuel of FranCorp Philippines, Ms. Gina Ilagan of OWISPA, and Ms. Camille Malto of the U Franchise Sales and Management. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am particularly happy that we are starting the new year with a webinar on franchising, because I believe that talking about financial opportunities is an auspicious way to begin any new year. I am grateful that the Philippine Chamber of Commerce Singapore, or PhilCham for short, has invited us to support this event along with our attached agency, the Philippine Trade and Investment Center. Nowadays, all around us in Singapore, we can see the ubiquitous preparations for the Chinese New Year, particularly the showcasing of signs and symbols that would ensure wealth and prosperity, luck and happiness for this year of the rabbit. We see red lanterns, door couplets, New Year paintings, kumquat trees, mandarins and blooming flowers, to name just a few. However, I am sure that you will all agree with me when I say that no amount of decorations and well wishes can replace hard work, financial literacy, and arming oneself with the proper tools and information to be able to make one's money work in one's favor. According to the latest statistics of the Department of Trade and Industry, the Philippines is the seventh largest franchise market in the world, contributing 7.8% to our country's gross domestic product and employing directly and indirectly over 2 million people. Such a world ranking is reflective of the confidence that foreign investors and the continually growing Filipino middle class have on the country's healthy business climate. Our business pundits would say that franchising is a good entry point, especially for budding entrepreneurs, because of its higher success rate due to name recall and proven business models. Food, in particular, is a favorite franchise category, which is not really surprising because of Filipinos' love for eating, a passion which we share with Singaporeans. Franchising is, of course, also a two-way street. Hence, we would like to see Filipino brands scaling up and adapting to foreign markets, just as we would like to see the same thing happen with respect to Singaporean brands. Now, before I end, please allow me to congratulate the Philippine Franchise Association for winning the bid to host the World Franchise Council meeting in October of this year. That event will certainly be a golden opportunity for us to showcase Filipino brands and to highlight their readiness to go global. At this point, and without further ado, let me give the floor to our team of experts who will now inform and guide us on the ins and outs of franchising in the Philippines. Mabuhay at maraming salamat po sa inyo lahat.
Thank you, Concha and Em. We'd like to get this party started. Our first speaker will be Ms. Cheryl Quintana. She's a multi-awarded entrepreneur, a business leader. She's chairman of PFA. She was the first Filipina to receive the Asia Pacific Women Entrepreneur Award in Turkey. She's a passionate mentor, I love that, and a professional speaker. She's also an author of 2 books. And you can see she lives out her passion, and that I think is the best thing about what she's done for the country and for businesses. So now I'd like to call Ms. Quintana to share her expertise with us.
Hi, thank you so much, Miss Tat, for that very kind introduction. Can you hear me? Sorry, I think. Okay. Okay. Good afternoon and Happy New Year to our dear friends from Singapore and, of course, here in the Philippines and everyone globally that are with us right now or who will be watching this webinar that we're doing today. And, of course, on behalf of the PFA Board of Trustees and Officers, please allow me to send to you, express our sincerest gratitude to, of course, our Charge d'Affaires and Consul General of the Philippine Embassy in Singapore, Dr. Emmanuel Fernandez, and of course, the Commercial Counselor, Attorney Carla Regina P. Grepo, the officers of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce in Singapore, led by the President, Ms. Christy Vincentina and Mr. Joey Sia Pesilier, who spearheaded the organization of this webinar. A lot of familiar faces in the room this afternoon. A lot of you I have met probably about 6 to 8 years ago already, because PFA has been doing this seminars together with the partnership with PhilCham and, of course, the commercial attaché office. Of course, I'd like to thank our webinar attendees, our kababayans in Singapore, for deciding to spend your afternoon with us. We hope that this webinar will help you decide, as the previous speakers were encouraging you before me. We hope that this webinar will be worth your while and will open opportunities for you this 2023. We in PFA have been doing this seminar ever since we were founded, to encourage Filipinos to start a business via franchising, as well as to educate everyone, the public, on wise franchise investment. We are doing this because we believe that franchising is a powerful tool for economic development and, of course, to create businesses and jobs for the country. Moreover, franchising is now part of the daily lives of the Filipinos, from the food we eat to the clothes we wear, from the salons that we go to pharmacies, from spas to dialysis centers, and even microfinancing during these direst times. We now get things that we need and want as franchises. That is why franchising is a good way to start a business. Another important reason is that when you buy a franchise, you buy a business that is already has a track record, proven, tried, and tested already. And I'm sure there will be explanations later and presentations to help you realize how franchising works, how it will work for you as a business person. And of course, not every business that claims to be a franchise is really into franchising. That is the reason why we're doing this, to educate everyone. What is it? How do we spot a scam? How do we not part with our investment, our hard-earned savings, and put that into a worthwhile investment through franchising? That is the reason why we are organizing this seminar, so that you know the fundamentals of franchising, and so that you will not fail. You'll not fall for the sweet but empty promises of franchise scams, because truly medyo marami sila yon, especially during the pandemic. So having said all of this, I urge you to stay until the end and take down notes. This is a very good opportunity, and for you to take this opportunity to ask questions later on. I hope that you will have more of your questions, and sa ating salita nga, mga agam-agam tungkol sa franchising. And during the Q&A portion later, let's together learn, and make the most out of this session, so that we are all educated and informed when you buy a franchise. Maraming salamat at mabuhay tayong lahat. Now, I will be proceeding to the talk on the overview of franchising in the Philippines. So while they're sharing the screen, I'd like to encourage all of you to go to the Q&A portion, if there's if you can see the slot there, and try to send in your questions already, so that we can already look at it and try to answer later on. Okay, so on the overview of the franchising in the Philippines, I'd like to share to you how PFA started. The Philippine Franchise Association is the voice of the franchising in the Philippines, and we have been founded in 1995. Our mission is to promote franchising as a tool to create thousands of businesses and millions of jobs. In fact, we've seen in the past years that when we started, very few only knew about franchising, but this has been a part of the daily lives of the Filipinos, as I've said in my opening remarks. And of course, the association is home of the country's most trusted franchise brands. Now, let's move on to the next slide. The PFA is include the biggest franchise brands down to the small and medium enterprises, and both local and foreign. So hindi lang mga Filipino brands, no? We have also foreign brands. We can also help foreign brands coming into the country. And of course, what we're doing right now is to help our Filipino brands expand globally. As mentioned in the introduction, I have been a staunch advocate of Filipino brands, and I myself started also as a very small company, as a very small Filipino brand, and grew into franchising. And my story is not unique. We've seen a lot of our members go through franchising, and what we take pride of is that we adhere to the fair franchising standards, which is the code of ethics of PFA. As mentioned by Conjen earlier, we will be hosting, in the next slide you'll see, we will be hosting the World Franchise Council and the APFC meetings this year. That's why we're very excited. We hope probably next year we can do this face-to-face. But in the meantime, help us, promote this. I'll share to you later on the schedules, the calendar. So for all of you who's planning to come over, to come home this year, make sure to coincide with our major activities this year, so that we can help you, launch into your entrepreneurship journey. PFA is a member of the World Franchise Council. And of course, we're the only member in the Philippines as a part of the WFC, and also currently the Secretariat of the Asia Pacific Franchise Confederation. And as you can see, the franchising in the Philippines, in the next slide, I'll be sharing to you a snapshot of what's happening in the country. So even before the pandemic, we've been top 7 of the largest franchise market in the world, meaning that a lot of franchise brands globally would like to expand in the Philippines. So ibig sabihin, kung sila nakikita nila yung potential natin as a market in the Philippines, might as well that we Filipinos, even if we're not based, even if you're not here in the country, might as well take a look on investing in the Philippines. The franchise sector has been a contributor to the GDP, almost 8%, and the values coming in from food, majority. That's why Conjen earlier shared in his speech, majority of the businesses in franchising are into food. But what is surprising also is that the trends in franchising even during the pandemic, it has been like a sort of a silver lining that a lot of the sectors gained, popularity, like in the health and wellness sector. And of course, as I've said, even the dialysis centers, and of course the microfinance, and a lot of people now are going to have their indulgences. So the Philippines has been become a booming market for franchising. So in the sector, in PFA also, we have three sectors: the food, the retail, and the service sectors. We are responsible for over 200,000 outlets, and we also employed 2 million, for 2 million Filipinos, which is a direct and indirect employment. And we are linked highly in the agricultural sector, or of course, this is a labor intensive sector, and a lot of people now are looking into what's happening to the Philippine agriculture, no? So more than anybody else, of course, franchise sector has been very interested and very invested in agriculture, because the supply chain of all the stores are highly linked to this sector. So let's now move on to the trends. I know you're all excited. Ano ba uso, Michelle? Ano ba ngayon ang dapat namin paglagyan ng pera namin? So in the launch of Franchise Asia next year, I've shared these trends in the conference, in the Franchise Asia conference in 2022. What's going to happen in the next years, no, 2023, and looking beyond. So I've made this acronym, which is called SHIFT. So for those of you who would like to take down notes, so it's easy to remember. What are the trends of franchising in the Philippines? First is sustainability. In SHIFT, SHIFT. First word is sustainability. Now, those businesses who have been able to navigate supply chain disruptions by encourage local sourcing. So a lot of course, our businesses going into Buy Pinoy, taking a look at what's available. This has been, of course, prevalent, during the pandemic. They've seen that taking a look at what's
Hi, everyone. We are just experiencing some technical difficulties, but we will be back shortly. Let's try again. Shall we try again? While we wait for Cheryl to come back on, please put your questions in the comments box. I'm sure you already have a lot of questions. I know I do. I have a couple that I would like to ask Ms. Cheryl. So please feel free to start writing down your questions. And again, thank you to all the speakers today. We're really thankful that you are spending your Saturday with us to inform us more about franchising, which is very exciting these days, especially now with the post COVID world and the realization, I think, that the region can benefit from sharing with one another our products, our services, and the generation now is also very global. So this is very relevant for all the markets, especially here in Southeast Asia. So let's try to get Cheryl back on. Let me see how she's going. I think she'll be back shortly. Shall we give her a minute or so to try to log back on? Maybe it's just a connection. I'm sure she's trying to get back into the platform. Okay, I think we have Cheryl back on. Hi, Cheryl. Welcome back. It's okay.
Sorry.
No issues.
Okay, I'm not muted. Okay, thank you so much. That happens talaga, Miss Tats. Okay, so we now move on to the next slide on sustainability. As I've been, did you miss this part, the sustainability portion, where I'm able to finish it earlier? Miss Tats, where did I end earlier?
Sourcing,
Okay.
because I was actually going to ask for that. A
Okay.
question on that.
Okay. So as I've said, a lot of businesses or a lot of franchise brands went into looking at becoming more eco-friendly or becoming more environmentally conscious company. Hence, also, of course, it helps them with having a low carbon footprint as a company. So let's move on to the next trend, which is going hyper local or being community driven. So a lot of the expansions to target specific and geographical areas. So before, when you talk about franchising, it's just in the metropolitan areas, no? Pag sinabing franchise brands, dapat sa Metro Manila, no? The location should be in the center. But because of the pandemic also, it helped us realize that those who are the brands that are immediate in the community are able to service, are able to provide the needs of the consumers. That's the reason why this trend has become, more prevalent or more imminent during the pandemic, and of course beyond. No, as we have seen now, there are a lot of opportunities in this brand. So before there are only limited locations. Now you can also take a look at locating outside the mall. You can also go into a lot of food parks now being in the inside the barangay or inside villages, for example. We've seen a lot of trends among brands to do community driven or consumer based trends in on the ground for franchise brands. So for those who are able, what's good about this is that during the time that a lot of lockdowns, no, long lockdowns, alam niyo naman, ang Pilipinas ay one of the countries of the longest lockdowns in the world. So, and usually it occurs in highly dense populated areas like Metro Manila. But there are, of course, regions in the country that the lockdowns or health protocols are not so much stringent. So these brands were able to expand doon. So we've seen also in the next slide that a lot of deliveries happened. So even at home, we are actually kidding, one another. Could you imagine that even in the provinces, even in the rural areas, you can see already these couriers, these riders able to deliver your products same day. So onto the next slide, you'll see also a lot of this hyper local trend also pushing, towards the brands able to service their immediate customers through delivery, drive-through, or curbside pickups. Why is it important? Because a lot of people are still having difficulty to adjust, in the beyond pandemic. And of course, we're also still very conscious, no, health conscious, because the COVID-19 did not naman ended, no? Still a lot of cases happening right now. So people would like to buy their products and drive through and get products also through curbside pickup. And of course, this has been servicing a lot of residential communities. Okay, so also part of the trends in the hyper-local or community-driven, we've seen also this food trucks. Onto the next slide. Okay, so we also see a lot of stores on wheels and community stores also. So this is aligned with being present in the barangays, in the villages, because as you know, during the time of the pandemic, people have problems with mobility. You can only shop within your barangay, only one people going outside. I think we pretty also see how people now can relate to having brands directly available or accessible in their communities. So onto the shift trends, we now see in letter I, the innovation. We've seen a lot of brands having to innovate. Now, sabi nga natin, change is the only constant in the world. So when shopping your franchise brands, you have to ask them, what are the things that you've innovated? No? What are the innovations you've implemented for your brands or your company? So we've seen also this collaborating among brands. For food, for example, we see a lot of cloud kitchens. Now, several brands under one kitchen servicing a specific populace or a specific community. And also, we've seen a lot of brands going collaborating or co-branding. So even if they're not food and food, we see also retail brands, for example, collaborating with other brands. For example, we've seen also this trends into even having this rewards now being able to customers being able to redeem the rewards from a different brand, so that there will be experience, no, for different brands. And this has been an innovation to able to survive, no, for a lot of brands, because the pandemic also made us realize that even how big the company you are, you always need help, no? Sabi nga natin, who doesn't need help? We all need, right? Getting help from everyone. And of course, in the innovation, we've seen also a lot of people doing hybrid working, no? Working patterns has become an answer to efficiency. Still, work from home has been a preferred arrangement. And of course, in the trends of the focus on the shift is the consumer behavior. What are the people? Sorry, let's move on to the next slides. Okay. Okay, and next, I've discussed that already. Sorry, I forgot you. Okay, so we've seen also the consumer behaving, shifting to what is valuable, what is necessary for all of us, right? So, but going beyond that, not just going into essentials, we also seen the lipstick effect in the economy, meaning people are going into having to afford simple indulgences, luxuries, for example, simple luxuries like cosmetics have been really selling so fast in the retail sector. And also, of course, skincare and a lot of health supplements. Also, a lot of companies have been seeing that the consumer have shifted to digital and also omni-channel experience, meaning omni-channel, you can order online, pick up offline. You can also have it pay offline and have it delivered to your doorstep. And customers now, we can see that even, wee hours, midnight, they tend to chat in the pages or social media pages of the brand. So you have to ask the franchise brands, have you been implementing agility in your social media pages? And of course, we've seen into the next slide, the healthy food products are been preferred, by a lot of consumers. Also, of course, the convenience, rather than loyalty, because customers now see that, okay, what are the products that are available for us, during these direst times, and consumers are now forced to try different products and have preference for healthy products and caring businesses. That is the reason why you have to ask if the franchise brand na napupusuan ninyo, what are the causes that they embrace, no? Ano ang mga pinaglalaban nila, kumbaga, because brands who have this caring and of course causes that they adopt have been more popular with consumers. So there is a demand for sustainable products. So on to the next slide, you see a lot of al fresco dining, and even the fast food chains, even mall-based, are now having this al fresco dining experience for the consumers, and the food parks that I've mentioned earlier. Okay, I gotta go quicker on my slide. So on to the next slide, you see a lot of healthy food products, preference by the consumers. And of course, the trends in time and technology. Next slide, you'll see a lot of our consumers now liking the touchless technology. It's funny now that when you go to Jollibee or McDonald's, for example, that you order there via this sort of a robot, and people are really queuing up to that, even if there are counters that are ready to get their orders. No, meaning people wanted the touchless technology, and a lot of our customers now would like to order via Food Panda, Grab Food, or even order via their social media pages. And even if they will go to the shop, will go dine in, they still order beforehand they go to the shops. And of course, next slide, you'll see a lot of omni-channel shopping experience, as I've shared earlier. No, they can order via the app or via the website or social media pages, and then they go to the store before they dine in. Also, they can order offline in the brick and mortar stores, and then I will still go to this and that and have it delivered at my doorstep. So that happens a lot these days. Next slide, you see a lot of brands coming together and setting up cloud kitchen. In fact, this is prevalent with our member franchisors in PFA, those who have several brands under one company. Before they have, for example, there are different brands and different stores and different kitchens and commissaries. Now, for example, Max's Group have implemented, even in the onset of the pandemic, their cloud kitchen, so they're able to optimize, their investments, their footprints on having their kitchens. Because as you know, during the pandemic, marami ang nagsara ng mga restaurants. No, they cannot operate anymore. They cannot sustain, the operations. So this is very helpful. So you also ask the franchise brands, what has been their implementation in terms of sustainability? How you can sustain, especially for large investments that you are going to take, which will make you invest like 5 years ang inyong relationship with the franchisor. Okay, let's now move on to the next slide. You'll see the time and technology in the trends in franchising, that we've expanded call centers and delivery capabilities. So call centers and delivery capabilities before, probably mano-mano lang, no? We went to one of our members and also member of the board, Sila Pen Shop, and their corporation, they have several brands. They've also put together all their delivery capacities in one location and automated also their operations. So you now see 24/7 people or their employees are able to answer your queries, no? Kasi nga nagkaroon tayo ng different work arrangements or hybrid working arrangements, even for consumers. So also, next slide, you see a lot of our trends going digital, e-commerce, mobile apps, and cashless payments. Just a few days ago or last week, I We've just launched, for example, in our own brand, a partnership with an Southeast Asian reward system. So hindi na yung mga reward system na card na susulatan or bibilugan, no? Like for example, we used to do, and we lose the card na, wala na yung mga points natin. So no longer like that. So even reward systems, there we can see already a lot of trends going that. So for us, for example, Arise partnered with Chemback and having that reward system. So a lot of our consumers taking a look at what are these opportunities for the customers to go touchless, and also of course cashless payment. So you have to ask your franchisor if what are their operations. Kung wala sila in place nito, teka, medyo mahirapan kayo as franchisee to operate or reach out your customer. Next slide, you also see a lot of the trends in technology that brands should be going digital. And of course, live streaming, shopping, also a lot of our customers taking a look at what are the activities. So before siguro, the updates would be like once a week or a couple of times a week. Now it has become a couple of times a day, updates in social media. Okay. Next slide, you'll see also the non-food trends have been, next slide, you'll see also the diagnostic clinics being seen on the ground, because a lot of people are still afraid going to the hospitals, to the big hospitals, especially those who are helping, with the COVID-19 and recuperation. So people would like to go to diagnostic clinics, and of course, even the dialysis centers. Next slide, because a lot of our patients have been amazed with their checkups, with their doctor's appointments. In fact, sadly, a lot of our deaths during the pandemic are not really COVID-19 related, but those who were missed their checkups and having to track their health during the time, because they did not want to go to the hospitals. Okay, so one thing also, we've seen that microfinance franchises are able to rake in. I am particularly not so, this is not a so happy good news, because franchise, when you see a lot of people, loaning for money or having help in microfinancing, meaning that that the sales is down, income is down. But the good thing about it is that becomes a leveraging, a leveling opportunity for our consumers, our customers, to be able to go into entrepreneurship journey. So a lot of Filipinos now are able, to access now. They can franchise in just a small amount. Also, franchisors now can be able to extend a franchise arrangement with just 50,000 pesos, for example, 100,000. And our franchisor members in PFA have been very generous, have been crafting, opportunities for our market to go into franchising and become their own boss. Okay, so I think there will be more presentations earlier and more opportunities to answer your questions. In the meantime, I'd like to invite everyone to please make a screenshot, capture this image, take notes. On June 7 to 8, there will be an international franchise conference. This is our face-to-face franchise conference after the pandemic. And this is also the first time that we've separated the conference and the expo. So you have more opportunities to come home and attend these two events that are really worth your attendance. Okay, International Franchise Conference, June 7 to 8. And the International Franchise Expo will be on 27 to 29 of October this year. And as Conjen earlier congratulated us, we're very happy because the last time we did the hosting or welcoming all these franchise associations all over the world, the World Franchise Council members, the 44 country associations, and of course the 19 country associations members of Asia Pacific Franchise Confederations will be coming all over to the Philippines and attend the international expo and meetings. So we have been packed already, no? Punong-puno na aming pinrepare para sa inyo na International Expo. In fact, we've been already preparing for that even last year so that we can give you a showcase that is worth your attendance. So lastly, to encourage you more, we've done the International Expo last October, and we have over 400 brands that showcase their products, their brands, their franchise brands in SMX. And we've seen a lot of, no, sorry, 500 brands, but we've seen also almost 50,000 visiting that 3-day expo. So of course, reach out to the numbers in the next slide and book your schedules coinciding with these events. Okay, so I'll be able to answer your questions later on at the Q&A, and I wish you the best, and I really encourage you to plunge into franchising and also to your entrepreneurial journey. I hope to meet you face-to-face soon, and have a great weekend, and see you soon. Thank you so much at mabuhay tayong lahat. Back to you, Miss Tats. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. My God, I am so impressed at how Philippine franchises and businesses have pivoted through COVID. And this is all very exciting. And now we will get to Miss Vel Manuel, who is with Frank Corp. And now you're putting that all together. She will now talk to us about investing in the right franchise, because that was an overload of information. And of course, we have so many interests: sustainability, food, health. So now we're going to get an expert. So just to give a brief background, she's the franchise and marketing consultant for Frank Corp's roster of SME clients. She's a certified franchise executive. She was the former marketing manager of Adobo Connection and Systems franchise at Mr. Donut. Who doesn't know Mr. Donut? And she's the AVP of marketing for Frank Corp Philippines and new franchise sales and management. So let's all welcome Ms. Val Manuel.
Thank you very much. So again, isa pong privilege and honor to be sharing with you a subject that we are so passionate about in the Philippine Franchise Association. If not, it's the purpose of our entirety, which is helping you become your own boss through franchising. But before I proceed to the meat of our discussion this afternoon, I would just like to say again, good afternoon to all our participants and to our guests and our partners from PhilCham Singapore and to the Philippine Franchise Association. So with that, let me just quickly share my screen so you can be, we can all go through together with this. Yeah. So I hope you are seeing my screen right now. And our discussion for today, as mentioned by Ms. Tats and Ms. Cheryl, will be about how to invest in the right franchise. Basically, what is franchising and the things you need to know before getting a franchise. So I know there's a lot of information that has been shared with you already and all, but let's take you through the basics. I think that's one foundational requirement that you really need to acquire before you really get into the decision of buying a franchise. So what we'll have today is, in this series, we'll do a bit of introductions, which we have done, a bit of definition on what is franchising, an industry overview. Of course, let's discuss about how does the franchise business model works. What are the franchise tips that you need to know before really buying into a franchise? And once you have the education in place, once you have the education information with you, let's decide what are the brands that you should get through our top franchise opportunities. So with that, I would just like to encourage you to take a screenshot of this QR codes, because we would like you to join our Franchise Talk PH Viber community. So here you can get the latest franchise offers, news, and events from the top franchise brands here in the Philippines. We also have a YouTube channel for Franchise Talk PH, just for you to explore more of the brands information po na gusto niyo pong malaman. So it's free. Don't hesitate to really join. Just scan the QR and you will be there po. You will be directed to the platforms. Okay, so with all of you on Facebook right now, you can comment when you hear the word franchising. What are the two, three words that come into your mind? So, franchising can be about in what we'll be discussing this afternoon. It can be for a business, no? It can mean an investment. It can be in a way of expansion for businesses. Pero minsan ang franchising na didikit din natin when it comes to mga to the transportation, right? For TV networks, right? So, but here today, what we will be discussing about is franchising as your business, how it can become a very helpful tool for you to have that financial freedom that you have been wanting for yourself and all, not just for yourself actually, but even for your families. So let me give you a bit of a layman's term no, when it comes to defining what is franchising. Franchising is duplicating the success of a successful business. So the operative words here being duplicating and successful business. No, so in Francar Philippines, we make sure that even before we create a franchise program of a certain brand or a certain business, kailangan meron muna silang proof of concept or proof of success. Because at the end of the day, our goal in franchising is to duplicate the success of a successful business, thus helping people become their own boss by having their own business and consequently having to provide more jobs to our fellow Filipinos. So I hope you will not forget this. You can take a screenshot of this and remember that franchising is duplicating the success of a successful business. So, with that, let me just take you through a very quick information of franchising in the Philippines. Um, for a start, it during a USAID study conducted a few years back, it has been proven that franchising has a 90% success rate versus 25% startup. So, does this mean? Ano? What does this graph tell us? So, if I would put it into an analogy, it just means that if there are 10 people who franchised a business before or nag-invest po, bumili ng isang franchise business, 10 franchise businesses ang nag-start 10 years ago. Our data says that there's a very good chance that about 8 to 9 of those franchises are still operational up till today. No? Whereas if there are 10 do-it-yourself business, mga nag-start from scratch, no? Talagang built by entrepreneurs. So there's a big chance that only about 2 or 3 of them will be still operational today. So let me just take you through what makes franchising a bit more successful when it comes to having a business for yourself. And later on po, we will explore more of the opportunities here. Why is it a really better option for you if you really want to have your own business? So more on franchising in the Philippines overview. As of the moment, we have about over 2,000 franchise systems in the Philippines. This means po that you have over 2,000 franchise brands that you can franchise. 900 plus of which are local franchises, meaning mga homegrown brands like Miss Cheryl's or Rice Pan. No? It's a homegrown brand. So whereas 517 naman of which are foreign franchises, meaning talagang brands that are from the other countries that also are franchising here today, in the Philippines. So another good thing about the franchising in the Philippines is it's continually growing in terms of concepts. So a few years, no, a long time ago, if I may say, ang alam nating mga nagpa-franchise are the big brands, no? Jollibee, McDonald's, Goldilocks, sila yung mga food brands that we know at the big ones are franchising. But now, in the industry today, you will be surprised that we have very unique concepts in franchising that you can franchise. So as mentioned earlier by Ms. Che, we have micro lending businesses that you can franchise. We have bicycle shop that you can franchise. No, so very unique concepts out there that you can also look into if you really want to go explore a lot of opportunities in franchising. So as I end up this slide, I just want to say that basically, if the franchising industry in the Philippines is continually maturing, then this means that the success is really continuing to grow, right? So I'm sure that more businesses, more people are opting to franchise because it really has a very um, uh, good record of success here in the Philippines. So a bit of the franchise trends, ano ba yung mga concepts that are very na nag-trend for the last 10 years. I won't go to each one, but there have been a year for siomai, for ice cream, for shawarma, and then come 2018 onwards, dyan lumalabas na po yung mga more unique concepts like self-service laundry, dialysis centers, diagnostic centers, and then um, come 2020, when the pandemic hit, what we saw is that one of the fast moving talaga na franchise businesses na nag-continue to be selling more, no, are health or essential items. So like pharmacy, grocery, water stations, LPG, gas. So that's what we have seen in the last 10 years. And now, 2022 onwards, Ms. Cheryl, chairman of the Philippine Franchise Association, has shared to us what is the future. So, and what I would just like to add to that is health will still continue to grow in that industry, delivery and to-go snacks, as mentioned earlier, and indulgence and travel now will always be a good category that you can look into if you really want to buy a franchise. So I'm sorry, I know I might be speaking too fast. So if you have questions, please just put them in the comment section and our team will consolidate that po para sa ating Q&A portion later. So in the franchise business model, we have the two protagonists here, right? So we have the franchisor and the franchisee. So franchisee, we are the ones that are buying into the franchise, now buying a franchise. We are the active investor, operator, the one that provides the capital, manpower, and time managing the unit. Whereas the franchisors naman po are the brands, no? Sila yung parent company, the owner of the brand, and the operating system. So here, let's just briefly discuss what are the elements of a franchise business. Now, what are the responsibilities of the franchisor and the responsibilities as well of the franchisee? I've been hearing this statement my whole life that I've been in FranCorp, that franchising is like marriage. It's someone submits to someone submits and someone is also parang providing, no, to the other party, but the foundation is trust. No, you what you establish in a franchise relationship with a franchisor and a franchisee is that it's built on trust. No, you trust each other's decision, you trust each other's direction. No, so here let me just show to you what are the give and take type of relationship that exists in a franchise relationship. So let's go first to the franchisor. So ano ang responsibilities of the franchisor for the franchisee? So number one is they should be able to provide for you the use of the name. So this is, I guess, one of the very essential part of being in a franchise business. No, so you have that benefit of the brand equity already. So let's just say, for example, you franchise Mr. Donut. So your customers already know that you are offering affordable donuts, no, and you are located in the transient areas like MRT stations, terminal stations, no, so they already are aware of what you are offering. So that's the very benefit of the brand equity for you. You don't need to do this from scratch. You don't need to introduce your business from scratch and just really to try to get traction from your potential customers. And at the same time, the franchisor's responsibility is to provide for you the systems. No, if we will go back to our definition earlier, it's duplicating the success of a successful business. So duplicating, it's like creating a Xerox copy or a photocopy of the business that is already working. So for them to be able to do that, they have to train you for it. So they have to be able to train you with their systems and procedures. They should be able to provide for you an operations manual. This is like the Bible on how you operate your franchise business. If you have a problem with if how to cook your meals, how to do your inventory, everything is here, and also operations manual. And also they should be providing for you the products, the the research and development team that are creating more products, new products, marketing campaigns, store design, merchandising. They should be able to provide that all to you, that you just really need to duplicate it and execute it properly in your store to make sure that it will be successful. But for me, one of the most valuable part in being in a franchise business is the ongoing support. So I'm sure some of you po who are watching us today are business owners of yourselves. Might not be a franchise, something that you really created of your own, ano? And sometimes when a problem hits you in running the business, my question is, who do you go to for support? No, so usually that will be what, your relative, that will be a friend of yours that has business experience. But here in franchising, when you encounter a bit of business problems, no, or operational problems, the franchisor team, the head office team of that brand will be there to really provide for you the best practices on how to respond to such crisis or to such circumstances. And that for me is the most valuable part of being in the franchise business. You get to have the luxury of experience from the franchisor, from their marketing team, know how to do local store marketing. If for example, unfortunately, some of your staff has been involved in theft and you want to prove it, your HR department in your head office will be able to provide for you tips on how to respond to it. So imagine having that kind of luxury of experience to make sure that your business works successfully. No, that's one of the most valuable thing in being in a franchise business. So again, the franchisor should be able to provide for you the system and the name that comes with the business. So if you have questions on this, just drop it on in the comment section, and we will get to that later. So let's go naman to the franchisee. It seems like the franchisor is providing everything for the franchisee, no, but that's not the case. The truth is the franchisee also has to offer something in this relationship, and it goes in three: the money, time, and people. It's important for you to understand that in getting into a franchise, it would really require you to have the money, no, the investment, the capital. So you just need to be sure that you understand the terms of what you are paying for, or what are the things that you should understand about in the financial structure of the franchise package. So let's go first in franchise fee and capital. For a long time that I've been in FranCorp and you franchise, ang dami pa rin pong hindi nakakakita ng difference between franchise fee and the total investment. So franchise fee is just the amount of money that you pay for to be in the franchise business, no, to have the contract, to be in the to have the franchise agreement with you, no, to be in the network. So it doesn't really entail any other investment there. So kaya po minsan makakakita kayo ng mga ads, 50,000 franchise fee, 99,000 franchise fee, and you thought that that's the entire investment. That's not the case po, no. You have to understand that franchise fee is just an upfront fee that you need to pay for to be able to be part of the business of the franchise network, to be in contract with the franchisor. So you have to ask this second question: what is the total investment aside from the franchise fee? So that's the capital. So capital would include, your franchise fee. If it says that total investment, then nandiyan na rin initial computations for your rent deposits, for your insurances, business permits, no, your initial salary for your staff, everything is in there. So again, makalimutan nyo man po lahat ng mga other information in this session, but don't forget the difference between franchise fee and capital. Make sure that you know and understand the right terms. So once that you have that in place, tayo po ay nakabili na ng franchise, no? It's important that you understand that a franchisee's responsibility is to pay monthly or recurring fees. Number one of that is royalty fee. Royalty fee is a percentage of the gross sales, or it could be a fixed amount that you pay to the franchisor to be able for them to provide for you continuing support. No, so imagine you po, if I'm the franchisor and I would like to put up a branch in this certain mall. So if the company can just have that branch 100% company owned, right? So they will be earning from that store 100%. But since now it's a franchise business, they only get a very small percentage of that sales. um, and then that percentage even goes to how they can sustain the support that they provide for you, no. So the reason why they can provide, monthly audit visits, visits from your for your local store marketing, guidance on that, no, is through the royalty fees, no. So it's quite evident that if franchisees tend to stop or to cease paying royalties, eh, bumababa din yung support that they get from the franchisor. So it's always important that you understand where the royalty fees go, and for you to really appreciate what are you paying for. Next is the ad fees, which is clustered into two: the system-wide ad fee and the local ad fee. The system-wide ad fee is also something you remit to the franchisor, but they should be able to provide national advertising for you. So imagine if I created a business of my own, like for example po, um, I have a food business and I want to have, let's say, Catherine Bernardo, just for example, or another celebrity. I have to shell out all my money, parang just to really be able to afford a celebrity. But in franchising, every unit is chipping in what by how much, a little over, just a little amount of 1,000 pesos, for you to be able to have that brand ambassador, no. So everyone is chipping in. So the reason they can afford billboards, tvc, we can afford to have big advertisements in place, is because everybody is chipping in a small amount of money to be able to do national advertising. So local ad fee naman is also a percentage of your sales, but it's something that you allot as a budget for yourself to do local store marketing. So the head office is responsible to do the national advertising, but as a franchisee, ikaw ang responsible on how you will market your store locally, no, or to your area. So this is where you can get your budget to do sponsorship on mall events or community events, to also get your budget here for flyering, no, for printing posters, banners, etc. And lastly, franchisee should buy products from the franchisor, especially the proprietary ones, no? So to make sure that you have the best price, because they order in bulk, no? Kasi ang mga franchisors natin. And of course, syempre the product quality. So if you have questions on the money aspect of your share in this, as a franchisee, then just put them in the comment section. We will get to that later. So the next two items that you need to provide as a franchisee is the time and people. You have to make sure that you have the right time allotted to running your business. And po, it's so common to hear that the reason why some of the franchise businesses that we are aware of, or yung mga businesses that franchisees that we know, fail because they didn't really commit the enough time to really manage the business. They can't allot time to talk to their staff, to check on inventory, to check on potential marketing opportunities for them. So it's very important that you need a lot time in managing the business, because at the end of the day, it's your business, no? So kailangan siyang alagaan. At the same time, you really need to choose the right people for your business. I know your question would be, sino bang mag-hire ng mga tao for my business? Most common answer to that will be you, no? Kayo rin po yung hire, mag-interview. The franchisor, the head office can help on recruitment, yung tipong mag-post for job posting. But at the end of the day, kayo po yung magde-decide who gets to be on board on your team. So make sure that you don't just focus on recruitment, but you select and you incentivize your people to make sure that they are aligned in your goal, in hitting the sales targets, in helping your business grow at all, because your growth will be their growth as well. So make sure that you choose the right people and you choose the right programs as well to incentivize them. Okay, so if you have questions on this part, feel free to drop them again at the comment section so we can get to them later. Okay, so let me just summarize again what are the benefits of franchising. Medyo na-discuss natin, but just for us to do a list. Number one is the foundation. You have a very strong brand name. You have that brand recall. You don't need to start from scratch, no, to zero customers. You can already start your business once it's operating, no? Next is proof of concept. No, there is proven systems and procedures in place. Next is the dedicated team of experts, which I said for me is the most valuable part. You have solid marketing, operations, and research and development team really helping the business grow. No, so you just really need to focus on your local store. No, you really just need to focus on executing it store level because the experts at the head office is doing all the big picture stuff. Next is the profit potential. It's predictable through control systems. So because they have experiences na in different locations, in different sizes of their store, they can already predict your profit potential. No? So if you're, let's just say for example, if you're located in a mall, city mall like this, then your target should, sales target should be X peso, your staff should be 2 or 3, etc., etc. So you can already predict that because they have the control systems in place. So now that I know some of you or most of you are very convinced that yeah, I think franchising is the way for me, is the way to go, no, for me to invest in the business. So if you are really deciding to get into franchising, here are some of the questions you need to ask yourself first. So, number one, what is your financial capacity? How much are you willing to invest? And you make sure that you don't put all of your parang all your eggs in one basket. Ano? That's a common principle that we should also put in franchising. Understand how much are you willing to invest, and does that fit the best budget level required for the brand that you want to franchise. And we don't frown, hindi frown, um what do you call this, hindi naman natin inaalis na taking a bank loan, no, just to extra push on your budget is a bad idea. No, talagang we encourage you to really look at your financial capacity and what are the other resources um, that you can explore to help you get into the investment level that you need to meet. Next is time management. Do you have the time to manage the business? Submissive. Are you submissive enough? Can you follow systems? Are you para ka bang tipong lagi na lang skeptical in other people's decisions? So if you are that type of if you are that type, no, I would suggest that you don't go franchising, because at the end of the day, franchising is about following systems. Okay. Location hunting, can you find locations for yourself, right? So you have to understand what are the location requirements. Next, and management skills. Do you have experience in leading people or managing customers? So you have to make sure that you have a little bit of experience. Hindi kailangan may MBA or a business degree to well, that's a plus. But if you are really starting, then you just really need a little have that experience in leading people or managing customers. So once that you think that, okay, well, I think I'm ready to get a franchise. I think financial capacity, time, submission, location hunting, etc. I have that. So the next question to ask yourself is, when choosing a brand, what do you ask the brands? No, what do you ask the franchisors? Number one, brand USP or unique selling propositions. Once you meet a brand that you like, you ask them, why do customers choose your brand over the others? And alam niyo po, one of the very parang competitive industries today is milk tea, ano? So there's so many of them. So you need to understand, um, with that kind of competition, why do customers choose this brand over the others? Next is the franchise support. You need to understand also with them ano yung support na binibigay niya sa mga franchisees, both at the start and the ongoing support. Hindi lang dapat sa simula, hanggang sa ongoing na yung business mo. Profit potential, what's the financial profitability and payback period? Next is location criteria. Which location works best for this business? And can you help me find the location? May mga approved na ba kayo na locations that you can also offer to me para sure ako na sure ako na you were able to really visit this and prove that this is a good location for the business. And lastly, always make sure that they are credible enough for you to invest in. There are so many brands out there trying to pretend that they're a franchise business, but their franchise agreements are Googled, or they just consulted a lawyer to do their legal contract, no? Or, diba? So you really just have to make sure that there's a very good franchise system in place, and they have that luxury of experience also to really help you succeed. And for a second layer of security, ask them, are they a member of the Philippine Franchise Association, or did a professional franchise program consultancy develop their program, because it's an investment to create a franchise program. So do your due diligence in establishing their credibility for you, know. So again, um, it's a hard-earned money that you're investing to them, so you have to make sure you're partnering with the right brand. Okay, so I'm on my last two slides. So again, if you have questions, feel free to drop them at the comment section and we will get to them again later. So we have shared so much information to you. So I hope you will ask questions that are relevant for you to be answered, no, this afternoon. Okay, so let me just end my presentation with 5 tips for aspiring franchisees from one of our franchisees, Mr. Ricky Batong. He is the generics pharmacy franchise, TGP franchisee, with over 100 plus outlets. So we interviewed him before for a newspaper article feature, and sabi namin, what will be your tips, no, for anyone who would like to buy a franchise and go into franchising? Sabi niya, number one, go into a business you know and love. Number two, choose a franchise based on potential customers, not just your wants or likes. No, so it's a good thing that you like the brand, but at the end of the day, how many customers like it, and um, uh, do they target also the right customers, no, with their marketing, etc. Number three, you must be willing to do your share and rely not rely only on the franchisor. No, you have to also be an active member of that relationship. You have to do your share. No, wag ka lang tipong nag-aantay lang lagi. No, you're very passive. You have to be an active participant in this relationship. Number four, find the right franchisor, one who genuinely seeks after your welfare, wanting you to succeed. And lastly, sabi niya, number five, be decisive. If there's a good opportunity, do not hesitate to grab it. So, ang kwento po ni Sir Ricky Batong is he is not like he started with 100 branches already, no? Nag-start din siya from with one or two for his own. And then, suddenly, there's this very big opportunity for the Iloilo area of TGP that magiging open for another franchisee kasi magmamigrate yung original franchisee, no? So there's it's open for bidding basically. So Mr. Ricky Batong really wants to buy the Iloilo area or to take it, but he doesn't have the money. So here you can see on the photo, he gathered three of his friends, and even with the funding from the three friends, so it's still not yet enough. So because they really believe in the brand, they believe in the business, they decided to have a bank loan. And so with that, their resources is enough, they bid for it. Then they got the Iloilo area. So he believes that it was a very good opportunity. So they make all ends meet to be able to really get that opportunity. So with all of you who are watching us this afternoon, I'm sure that some of you are 10% wants to go franchising, some of you 50%, some of you 90% almost there, but still has a lot of hesitations with you. Our encouragement is this: if there's a good opportunity for you, you have the resources in place, you have your support system supporting you to make that decision. um, let the Philippine Franchise Association, FranCorp, or you franchise, or the brands that we have here today help you be guided in making that wise decision or educated decision in really buying a franchise. If there was a crisis to us, marami rin pong naging opportunities for us. So I hope that if you really see a very good opportunity in front of you, you will make everything possible to make it happen for you. And we hope that through this session, we have helped you achieve help you achieve your goal, understand more about franchising, and we hope that you will be the next franchise success story in the Philippines. So with that, maraming salamat po. This has been Vel, and I hope that you have questions to ask later, and we have helped you make a more educated decision to go into franchising. Thank you very much. I will turn over it now to our organizers.
Thank you so much, Val. That was excellent. We were all saying what a natural speaker you are, and I think more. I think 10% is not the percentage. I think a lot of people today are encouraged to get their own franchise, and we will have a lot of questions for you. Again, if you have questions, please make sure to put them in the comment section so we can read them to our presenters. So our next presenter is the Franchise Relations Officer of Orispa. They make rice brand products. I'm a big toiletries person, so I'm very vested in this presentation. Let me call on Miss Gina Ilagan.
Thank you, ma'am. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to present our company. I am Janami Ilagan, Marketing Officer of Orispa, and I'm welcoming you all to be part of Orispa growing family. So, let me proceed to my slides. So, um, so who is Orispa? Next slide, please. So, Orispa Spa Solution is the first and finest maker of 100% rice brand-based spa products in the Philippines. And Orispa is your ASEAN Excellence in Healthcare at the ASEAN Business Summit in the year 2016, an outstanding Filipino franchise and Best in Corporate Social Responsibility Program awarded by the PFA and DTI in the year 2017. And recently, we are being awarded as Outstanding Exporter by the National Congress of the Philippines in the year 2022. We are into manufacturing and retailing, and we expand through franchising. Orispa is found by homegrown brand advocate and Caesar entrepreneur, no other than Mom Cheryl Ramos Quintana, who has been also into manufacturing sector for 20 years. We are the franchisor of Orispa, and one of our best strengths is we are the manufacturer of all these unique wellness products. And rice bran is our flagship ingredients for all of our products, also known to Filipino as the rack, which is a brown powder that is the byproduct of milling, but rice bran is actually rich in oryzanol, which is a powerful antioxidant of anti-aging properties, contains vitamin E that helps prevent cancer. This is actually a prime ingredient for beauty products, but Orispa use this for wellness product like pain and stress relief. Kaya nare-relax ka na, gumaganda ka pa. So why choose Orispa? First, we are the trusted Filipino brand, and we have a wide range of products. In fact, more than 60 different products to choose from, and we cater bath and body care products, stress pain relief products, and home spa solution, so your customer will have varied choices. And third, you can enjoy a great brand equity in areas that we operate. And we are the only brand dedicated for rice brand-based products and use all natural ingredients. And we manufacture our own products, having control of quality and serving your inventory needs right away. And we promise feel good anywhere, anytime experience. So with that, when you buy the product like balms, massage oil, scrubs, we guarantee you that you feel good using it. And we have a competent team that cares for the collective growth of our franchises. And we have lead clear brand vision and mission. So next slide, please. So Orispa franchise investment is inclusive of franchise fee, staff uniform, kiosks, initial inventory, stock band, and soft opening support. As an Orispa franchisee, you can enjoy a 50% profit margin. We don't have any royalty fees. The return of investment is 1 year and 8 months, and 3 years contract renewable for 2 terms, having franchisee enjoy 9 years of contract. Orispa franchise is easy to operate. Next slide, please. And good news, we have a good news rather. We are open for distributors and home resellers for those who want to start up the business. For as low as 55,000 or 10,000, you can be our a RISPA ambassador. So next slide, please. Our target market is everyone who are into healthy lifestyle and believer of all natural products. We are here to bring you feel good spa experience anytime, anywhere. And of course, with or without pandemic, health is wealth, so choose wellness, choose Orai Spa. You can now be your own boss. We're happy to partner with you. For inquiries, kindly contact us to the details for the reflected on your screen. Thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to check out your products as well. I hope they get to Singapore very soon. So, moving forward, we would like to call on our next speaker. So, she works for You Franchise Sales and Management. What they do is they help franchisors to find the right franchisee partners and as well as leading investors find the right franchise business ideas. So let's please call on Miss Camille Malto to share her experience with us.
Hello, good day, everyone. So, good day. Thank you very much, PhilCham Singapore, for having you franchise. And today, I am very much excited to share with you the top franchise opportunities that you might consider for your 2023 business goals. So, let me just, yeah, okay. First, for the first slide po, okay, so but before we proceed with the top franchise opportunities in the next slide, I will share with you a brief introduction lang about our company. So in the next slide, sino po nga ba si U Franchise? So U Franchise, we are helping aspiring franchisees be matched with the right franchise brand to invest in. So by giving them free franchise matching and consultation. In the next slide, yes, okay. For by giving them free franchise consultation, and we also have over 200 quality brands to choose, whether it's food or non-food concept. And we also have a premium service, which is location assistance, to help those who are struggling in finding a feasible site. So let's now proceed with the brand presentation in the next slide. First, we have Bang Bang Bangus. This is our fastest growing franchise brand here in the Philippines for with over 100 branches already in just few years of the operation. So it is loved because they are the first flavored big boneless crispy bangus franchise here in the Philippines. So capital investment starts at 450,000 up to 550,000. We also have Santino's Supreme Slice Pizza, which offers no wait, all supreme, nutritious Italian pizza slices at very affordable prices. Capital starts at 400,000. Of course, we also have Shawarma Shack. This is the first and original buy one take one shawarma in the Philippines, with capital investment starts at 850,000 up to 3.5 million. So in the next slide, we have Chat Time. This is the leading milk tea franchise here in our country with over 150 plus branches nationwide. So our capital investment starts at 2.5 to 7 million. Of course, we have Gold's Gym, the most recognized and respected fitness brand globally. So our capital investment starts at 5 to 29.5 million. And also good news for Gold's Gym, for those who are interested for Gold's Gym franchise, they are now offering existing branches ready for franchise. And last but not the least, we have Gamot Publico. It is a fast-growing pangmasa generics pharmacy franchise. Capital investment starts at 627,000. And the next slide, please. Okay, so I think that ends my presentation. Those are just few of the many brands that we can match you with. So if you have questions regarding other brands or the brands that I presented, you may always contact us with the details flashed in your screen. So thank you very much and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Camille. That really excited everyone. A lot of those brands that you just flashed, we all know very well. So now I would like to call on a dear friend of the chamber, our commercial counselor, Carla Grepo. She has worked in different parts of government. She is very experienced and a wonderful supporter of the chamber from the very start. So happy New Year, Carla, and welcome to our first event.
Happy New Year, Miss Tats, and Happy New Year, everyone, and good afternoon to all our viewers. And thank you once again for joining us this Saturday afternoon. Let me just pull up my slide. Yes. Okay, thank you once again for joining us this Saturday afternoon for our first PhilCham Business Series episode for the year 2023. And of course, the Trabajo, Negosyo, Kabuhayan collaboration with DTI. What a wonderful way to start 2023 with a wealth of information from our seasoned entrepreneurs in the franchising sector. Okay. There. Okay, so again, I'm Carla Grepo, the commercial counselor of the Philippine Trade and Investment Center, Singapore. This is the representative office of the Philippine Department of Trade and Industry in Singapore and the commercial section of the embassy. Okay, so we already have a lot of information to work with from our very knowledgeable speaker. So I'm just here to very briefly talk about how DTI and my office can support you in jumpstarting your business once you've had decided or still need some more information to inform your decision. So in a nutshell, the mandate of PTIC Singapore is to promote the trade and investment relations between Singapore and the Philippines. So PTICs around the world, we are part of DTI's Foreign Trade Service Corps, composed of trade representatives or commercial attaches representing the commercial posts of the DTI around the world. So we are also the commercial section of the embassy or the consulate, and we are present in more than 30 key cities across Asia and the Pacific, Middle East, Africa, Europe, and the Americas. So what we do is we promote overseas the different DTI initiatives in trade promotion, investment promotion, commercial intelligence, and trade negotiations. Okay, so for trade promotion, we help increase Philippine exports by connecting Philippine exporters to buyers overseas through business matching, networking with buyers and trade organizations, doing trade missions, in-store promotions, and the like. So like, for example, in this photo last year, part of our activities included bringing buyers to the Mindanao Development Authority to a trade roadshow that we mounted with Minda. So they brought Mindanao exporters looking for buyers here in Singapore. Okay, and then for investment promotion, we organize inbound business missions for potential investors like you once you're ready to invest or start your business. And we also organize road shows and investment missions and promote key investment areas to potential investors, again, like yourself, in our countries of posting. So in this photo last year, we want to encourage Singaporean and Singapore-based potential investors, again, like yourself, to make their Philippines their investment destination. So what we do is we try to help them set up their manufacturing sites, plants, and other businesses in the Philippines. So like last year, we supported the BCDA in their new Clark City Roadshow. So we worked here with BCDA, PhilInvest, and BOI, or the Board of Investments. Okay, and then some other things, we do commercial intelligence. So we inform our home office of the latest trends, market intelligence. And for some posts like Geneva and Jakarta, where ASEAN is, they also are part of the delegation during trade negotiations like the RCEP. And I guess most relevant for today, we also help potential overseas Filipino investors like yourself by providing trade and investment information and assisting them in their entrepreneurial or investment ventures in the Philippines. So we do virtual financial literacy and entrepreneurship presentations. So it could be a standalone Trabajo Negosyo Kabuhayan virtual event or through participation in Philippine Embassy and Polo events. or in collaboration with reputable organizations like, of course, PhilCham and PFA. So again, it's part of our work to assist you as overseas Filipinos because we consider you as potential investors. So that's why we are part of TNK, where in different countries, nagtuturo kami ng mga paraan so you can grow your savings as part of our continuous service to overseas Filipino communities. So specifically for franchising, what can my office do for you? So, of course, we participate and support in webinars like this, where we make sure you get information from reputable, trustworthy, and seasoned resource speakers like the ones we've had today. So we can help you in getting connected to reputable partners for research, of course, chambers like the Philippine Chamber, industry alliances and associations like the PFA. And then if you are setting up a business in Singapore, so we can also connect you to partners, which can be government agencies or chambers. So some examples of offices we work closely with are Enterprise Singapore and Singapore Business Federation, as well as other chambers like SECCI, Singapore Manufacturing Federation, etc. And then if you are setting up a corporation or a business in the Philippines, of course, we as part of the DTI, we can connect you with relevant DTI government agencies. Okay, and other than franchising, we conduct entrepreneurship webinars from time to time on different subjects. So I've listed some of them here, like webinars on agribusiness, saving and investing. And of course, in 2021, we also did a franchising seminar along with other ASEAN posts and, of course, the Philippine Franchise Association. Okay, so we have many success stories of overseas Filipinos who were able to grow their savings and set up their own businesses because, of course, it's our goal. It should be our goal not to be employees forever, but, of course, to have our own businesses, which can be our legacy to our loved ones and families. Okay, and then also, if you reach out to my office, there are a wealth of programs under DTI that can assist you whether you're still thinking of starting a business or you already have one and want to expand or think of ways how to grow it. Then we have many. I won't go into one by one anymore in the interest of time, but as you can see, these are just some of them. So we have the Negosyo Center, we have SME, Roving Academy. We have the Mentor Me program. And of course, we also have what we call the Shared Service Facilities program, where there are manufacturing facilities that can be shared across communities and different small businesses. Okay, so I will no longer, I was planning to play a video, but let me just go over very briefly recent development during the pandemic. So before we have negosyo centers, well, we still do across different regions, but during the pandemic when movement was limited, then this portal was created. So it's called the Negosyo Center Online. So the goal back then was in the middle of restrictions that we faced during the pandemic, or if we are overseas, since many of our viewers are based in Singapore, we cannot physically go to a regional negosyo center. Then DTI created a negosyo center, the Negosyo Center online portal. So here, may end-to-end services for aspiring MSMEs or aspiring entrepreneurs. So gamit lang yung smartphone or computer habang kayo'y overseas, you can reach out to DTI business counselors. And in fact, this even has a chat messaging function. So you can talk to our DTI business counselors Monday to Friday, 8 to 5 p.m. So here, they can teach you how to register your business, what are the possible funding sources, even sites. So we encourage everyone to really check out this website and maximize the free services offered by DTI. So yeah, if you actually go to YouTube and search about Negosyo Center online, you can watch an overview of the services offered there. Okay. So ayun, since I can't go into detail of there's a lot of services offered there. I encourage everyone to check it out. So you can go there by typing in https://dti negosyo center dot online. Okay, and if you have any questions for any of us, again, you can type it here in the chat, or alternatively, you can reach out to us at singapore@dti.gov.ph. And of course, we would like to invite you to follow our Facebook page, dti.singapore. So that's where we announce our webinars and free online trainings, and sometimes we do live stream them or share the live stream broadcast by our partners. And you can also go to YouTube of the YouTube channel of DTI Philippines. You can find there a wealth of recorded webinars, videos, and episodes on how to be an entrepreneur. So that's about it for my presentation today. Again, this is Carla from PTIC Singapore, and we hope to engage with you both online and offline after this. Thank you, and back to you, Ms. Tats.
Thank you so much, Carla. Now, we'd like to start. We're running a bit over time, but that doesn't matter because I think everyone's very excited. So, we'd like to start our question and answer portion. Let's get everyone on board first before we start. Okay, so let's make this very free flowing. Although I think Val will be the first question. I have to ask her also what the term means. That's why. So we have one question from Sunny, and his question is: aside sa DTI single proprietor, pwede po ba ang OPC as a franchisor kung hindi swak sa akin ang corporation?
I'm not so sure about what OPC means. No,
Me either.
I'm happy to chime in.
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, so it's a OPC. I think Sunny means one person corporation.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess different franchises would have their own requirements of who they work with, but definitely there are, I'm sure, franchises who are run by OPCs. But I'll also defer to additional information from our other speakers.
Yes, so I'll get
Val,
that.
would you
Ms.
like
Tats.
Oh, okay. Okay, Cheryl, go ahead.
Yes. So for different franchise or member brands of PFA, as Carla mentioned nga, no, iba-iba ang requirements per franchise or brands. But definitely as franchisee, you can come in as a single proprietor or as an OPC or as a corporation, because as long as you have a legal entity and are able you to enter into a legal contract with a franchisor. So that's fairly okay.
Can I just also add, now that I understand the term that he was asking, I just like to make sure that he is asking as a franchisor, no, not as a franchisee. So as a franchisee, you can go a single proprietor, especially when you're starting. But as a franchisor, at the end of our, like for example with FranCorp, upon the upon as you graduate in the franchise program development process, we also encourage our franchisors to create their own franchise company, which is a separate company. So just to be sure that there will be that franchising corporation in place that will be the one to really represent the franchise company as a franchisor, basically. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So in short, that's legally, they can be single prop, they can be OPC, they can be corporation, whether they would like to be franchisor or franchisee. It's just that Bell was just it is encouraged kasi syempre when you become a corporation, more people getting involved in working and leveling up your brands. But legally, yes, can be.
Okay. Our next question is from Stephanie. How will you know if your business is ready for franchising? I'm assuming she has a business or she knows of a business that wants to grow.
Okay, so if I may start, so first, of course, you need to be sure that you have your success proof. No, I think that's the most important because um, our statement palagi when anyone with the brands that wants to come into franchising, our goal is to duplicate their success, no, not duplicate mistakes, not duplicate problematic situations that will be inherited pa or passed on to franchisees. So that's number one. Bottom line, you need to be sure that your numbers are doing so well that if you share the because you will be sharing this profit structure, no, to your franchisees in the future. But aside from that, you also need to make sure that your operations is, if the term is correct, duplicable or something that can be easily duplicated. This becomes a problem sometimes if you're the way you operate your business, whether it's especially for services, yung mga service concepts natin. If it becomes too technical, na alam natin it will be very difficult, no, to transfer that knowledge to that to a franchisee or to someone, to a stranger basically. I think that's what you need to also check in your operations. Is it something that you can train someone that they can duplicate it to another store the way you operate it on your business as well? So there are so many factors actually to understand if your business is ready for franchise. But if there are other inputs from our other speakers, I will also welcome their answers na lang. Yep.
Yeah,
Does anyone else
to
have
simply
any
put, because yes, Miss Tat. So as Vel was mentioning, no, they're also FranCorp has been helping a lot of franchisors to get them ready and to franchise their businesses. For generally, para madali din maintindihan ng mga audience natin, there are just two, no, factors to help assess your own company if you started your own company and want to level up through franchising. So as it was discussed earlier, dalawa lang siya. First is that you have a successful business. Now in PFA, when we welcome new members, how do we define it, no, in metrics? Usually you have been operating for 3 years as a franchise business. So for 3 years kasi medyo alam mo na kung paano yung trend, no? It's not just 1 year kang nag-ooperate. You also are operating 3 franchise stores, three company-owned stores already. So in those metrics, you'll be able to assess, no, the success of your business. So you have a successful concept or successful business. The second one that Vel was mentioning was you have a system in place that is replicable for others to follow. So franchising is for people who are into systems. No? They love systems. They love to follow how success are able to replicate itself. So dalawa lang siya, success and replicability of. I hope Stephanie get sort of a good assessment, no, kung ready na siya. And of course, we all here can help them out. Just reach out through PFA Secretariat if they want to dig in deeper, help them assess themselves if they're ready for franchise.
Okay. In relation to that, I'd like to direct a question to Carla. Somebody's asking how the DTI can protect potential franchisees because people are, obviously trying to get people to get their franchises. If the franchise has not shown yet proven track record, as Cheryl was saying, the PFA members have that, but there will be others on the fringe or others that suddenly become popular who may not be part of PFA that come in and then suddenly they become the talk of the town. And how can DTI help people discern that as well, since you're the first point of contact?
That's a great question. No? So that's one of the services we offer. Of course, we welcome questions on checking the reputability of a company. Of course, we are not paid consultants or lawyers, so we can't do a full due diligence for you. But we've worked with so many companies already, so we would have access, of course, to contacts from SEC, and of course, we are part of the DTI, so we can check if they are registered, if they have any pending cases. So at the DTI, we have our own dedicated consumer protection group. No, so if you frequently watch TV or listen to the radio, you will see Yusek Ruth Castello. So she heads that consumer protection group. We also have a Fair Trade Enforcement Bureau where complaints are lodged. So, andyan yung mga scams or yung mga natakbuhan, we also have those. But of course, we don't even want you to reach that point. So when you're still doing your due diligence, feel free to reach out to us if we're not the right office to really give you the level of information you need. We have the contacts to the right offices, whether that's CPG or sa SEC ba and things like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes. I'll add to
Yep.
what
Sure.
yes CA Carla was mentioning, no. That's true because right now the Philippines has no regulations on franchising. That is that can be a good status where we're in, because that also gives us, how the sector grows dramatically. So syempre pag booming ang isang industry, marami talaga ang. That's the reason why we are doing these webinars, no? And we're very grateful, of course, to PTIC Singapore and PhilCham to reach our kababayans there. Now, wag kayong basta-basta padalos-dalos, maganda lang yung branding, maganda lang yung marketing, ay go na sa investment. The Philippine Franchise Association has been existing for over 3 decades, and we are very proud on the fair franchising standards that we are complying with. And before you get to be a member of PFA, talagang salang-sala, no? May screening. So if you'll ask me the reason why Ms. Carla I was mentioning earlier na you have to ask around first before magpakawala tayo ng investment. The TTI can help through the checking, no, on the legality and the existence of the companies. But when it comes to franchising, reach out to us, no, in PFA. In fact, those complaints related to franchising going through the consumer protection group also is being logged to our lap, no, because we work closely with DTI in all points of investments of the franchisees. So to help the one who asked the question on that, choose the brands that have been already proven a track of record. Now, I may say, no, siguro categorically choose from the member brands of PFA kasi we can really vouch for them. And also, if malalaking investments na yan, it'll be helpful also to reach out to the other speakers here like UFRAN and FranCorp to help them get assessment kung yung bang companies na yon have really made all their documentation, all their systems in place. Walang sure ball assurance kasi on the success, but of course with proven track record of different companies that are members of PFA, we can vouch, no, more or less the success of these ventures from the franchisees. And also another thing is that you can shop at the expos that we are doing. You can visit them. Also, of course, dito sa ginagawa nating seminar katulad nito, the brands presenting here have been already screened, no, by PFA to be ready to franchise in Singapore, or also for you to get investments running here in the country. So two-way siya. You can bring these brands over to Singapore, can also help your families invest dito sa Pilipinas instead of just sending your money and hindi siya pupunta ng investments. So, yon. Self-regulation ngayon ang industry, and we're very proud that through PFA, you can get the help that you need.
Okay, so following on that is another question that comes from Rated J. If I am an overseas Filipino, I intend to have my own business. Should I entrust and should I entrust this to my family or friend, or can a franchisor provide a professional manager to help manage the business, or or a management contract of some sort? Because sometimes when you're overseas, you don't have anybody back home competent enough or willing to do it, because it's a big thing. So
Siguro
not every family member is
yeah,
also willing to run it for you.
I'll
Yeah.
answer briefly, but I'll pass this to Vel and also to you, Fran, to also help them. Give examples to other franchise brands that are able to make it have the engagement with our overseas Filipinos that are not based here at nagpadala lang for investment. But generally speaking, with the experience that we have for overseas Filipinos investing in different brands and have them operating here. Iba-iba ang mga franchise brands. They have this professional managers helping them outrun on the ground. But you know what? We've seen also a lot of failure in that because they're also managing. No, may mga nagbebenta kasi ngayon. They form their group, they sell the franchise, the investment, tapos sila na magpapatakbo. But with so many brands that they're handling and they're not really adept to the culture or to the brand culture itself kasi iba-iba yung concepts that they're running, then they get also to have a lot of failures on that. What I advise is that they really have someone from their family or trusted friend or a professional manager that they appointed, sila mismo na may-ari. No? Overseas Filipinos who wish to invest should have someone to trust with in terms of running. So yung managers, they don't really have to manage themselves naman by themselves, but really someone that they can entrust with the investment. Because normally with franchise brands, the first 6 months, kinakailangan talaga na yung representative ng owner should be there on a daily basis to make it running. Yun. So, with that, maybe I can turn over for some examples siguro of successes from the franchisee side to Vel, if you have.
Yep. So I think one common advice that we really give to OFWs po is, if they really want a business here and they can still parang, they still want to have their jobs overseas, our common advice is, whether it's a relative, ideally it's a close relative, immediate siya, but also allow them or let them invest a little in that business. Na you want them to also have that risk exposure for them to really be committed in running the business as well. Kasi it's what's the common problem that we hear with our partner brands is the level of commitment that the one that capitalized the business doesn't necessarily or unfortunately resonates with the one that is managing it
Right.
locally. No? So at least with that little level of risk exposure there, um, they will give heart to the business because its success will be the success of their investment as well. So that's just what to add to what Miss She said. So I will also ask my colleague Camille for her experience talking to OFW franchisees.
Okay, so for that question po, we don't really encourage OFW franchises to just invest in a business and not get involved in the operation or fully entrust the business to their relative. So we are giving them two options. So first po is have your relative invest din financially. So in that case, they will also feel responsible to whatever happens to your business. The second option po that we're advising them is hiring a professional manager to check on your business. It's also a good option. So in that way, hindi tayo mahihiya na i-monitor sila, i-check sila from time to time, or kamustahin yung business natin if needed. Kasi with the experiences po ng mga clients ko, no, kapag relative nila, medyo nahihiya silang sitahin, kamustahin yung business. So parang nagkakaroon ng gap po with them. So kaya po sa new franchise, we recommend brands that medyo high-end po in terms or high-end or medyo modern na in terms of the technologies po that they are using. So there are some brands na may support in terms of sales monitoring. So may mga OFW franchisees kami who are using some apps wherein they can monitor the sales, inventory, delivery, even if they are from the other bansa po. So yun.
Okay, thank you. And following on to that is maybe our last question since we're already over time from Cherry Ann. So, paano po namin malalaman kung ano ang mga potential na businesses na pwedeng ilagay sa amin? I guess she's from Lubao, Pampanga. So more, how do you know what, I think she's asking what franchises are available, especially in the more regional provincial areas, as opposed to Metro Manila, the major cities.
Yes. Yes, correct. Yeah, we're very excited with that. Kasi what happened also after the pandemic is that nag-open up yung mga areas, no, Miss Tats. Unlike before the pandemic, parang everyone wants to go into the city centers or Metro Manila muna. But right now, there are a lot of concepts that have been proven very successful outside these centers. So sa question ni Cherry Ann, paano nila makikita yung mga potential businesses na pwedeng ilagay sa Lubao, Pampanga? Among franchisors in PFA, we periodically ask them dalawang questions. The territories that they want to expand in, saan sila gusto nilang mag-expand, ano itong mga target nila for the year, and also if they're ready doon. Meaning, they also have a sense of organizational, logistics, etc. for it to be successful. So in that case, they can just go to our website, which will be flashed on your chat, the Philippine Franchise Association website, www.pfa.org. Or they can reach to us in our social media pages in Facebook as well as in Instagram. So meaning to say, you reach out to us and we can somehow give you a list. Say publicly accessible document, no, yung list ng mga members namin and that are ready to franchise in those areas. So we can definitely help Cherry Ann. Kung ready na siya, anong investment, as what Vel was saying earlier, and of course, those who wish to invest in, kinakailangan muna identify nyo ano yung sector, ano yung mga interest ninyo na paglagakan ng inyong investment. And then from there, we can help you choose from a list of selections of the franchisors that you can choose with.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. So before we close, I want to ask our experts, give me your top 3 favorite sectors post-COVID, because it's interesting, that after COVID, like Cheryl said, things changed. So what is the most exciting sectors now that you are looking at?
Sige, I'll go first. Yes, of course. Well, tatlo lang ang sector talaga, no? Mainly in franchising, food, service, retail. Now, if you ask me for my own favorite, syempre, I'm very excited with how the retail sector is moving. The food kasi has different touch points or different concepts altogether. Sabi ko nga kanina, ang sa member brands namin, almost 60% food. Pero in terms of the market kasi, no, Miss Tats, syempre red ocean yan. Ang dami mong kompetensya, ang dami mong kalaban. Kanina nga binabanggit, no, milk tea for example, napakadaming concepts. Different strategies to be able to rake in, no, or have that return of investments. Ako excited ako with the retail kasi ngayon nakikita natin how yung lipstick effect, no, sa economy, which we call the simple indulgences. Hindi naman kailangan ng mga luxury bags yung bibilin. Lipstick lang, masaya na, skincare, for example, and how these are able to service customers. So that's very exciting for me. Also, the innovation that they've been doing a lot to reach out to their customers. In fact, during the pandemic, akala natin parang itong sector na to, no, the beauty, the wellness, the personal healthcare sector, parang babagsak, pero hindi, tuloy-tuloy lang yung yung market share niya. And then I'm also very excited with those investments, yung agile, no, in the food sector. So that's also one of my favorite. I also see a lot of young generation now. Even my kids went into franchising during pandemic. So they started their own entrepreneurial journey. They're just 19, 15 years old, but also made their investments through food. So yung mga footprint, for example, less than ₱1 million investment, ang dami. And to share to you what happened last Franchise Asia in October, you know what? Almost half of our exhibitors were first time, or those who were concepts that were born out of the pandemic. That's really surprising. Even sa amin, from the leaders of PFA, iisipin mo ang mga buhay yung mga yung mga malalaking companies. But because they're also less flexible, no, than those who were starting very small, para silang mabilis silang mag-expand kasi maliliit lang ang investment. So in terms of favorite, not really particularly with the sector, but more of the concepts on the ground right now. And I'm also very excited with how the service industry, service is not just for mga spa or salons, no? Service, kasi sila yung greatly affected during the pandemic. But for our listeners right now, take a look at those services, for example, like cleaning the households, like for example, those who are like mga personal shoppers, or those who are providing diagnostic clinics, etc. So iba-iba yung level of investments. Now, iba yung, of course, the excitement that we have for a concept. You have also your appetite for risk. Magkano ba ang kaya mong i-shell out na hindi ka naman gagapang sa hirap pag hindi naging successful yon? So in that point, you can have two circles, and the middle, you can have that ground where you can start. But definitely, I encourage every one of you, this year is the best year to invest and to start your journey into entrepreneurship.
Wow, thank you. I think we're very inspired. Anybody else would like to share their favorites for the year?
Yep. Ako po, I would like to share. I think just the same, I think I will be sharing concepts instead of parang industry in general po. No? So with a little bit of advice there, or parang match your likes. No? So if you want to invest in a franchise, and your option one is you want faster returns, smaller investments, then definitely, I think, as mentioned by Michelle, food carts, kiosks will still be the best option for you. Di natin matanggal na it's a need that we consume every day. So there's the consistency of customers will always be there. And then I think the way that the delivery aggregators are being supported, are supporting also the businesses, is a very, very good point then on making these businesses successful pa. So that's one. If you want, if your appetite is lower investment and then faster ROI, but medyo trendy, medyo dun siya may risk siya because it's based on trend, then I think you should go for food concepts. But if you naman are someone looking for longevity, your investment risk appetite is medyo mas malaki, then I think meron po akong dalawang favorite at the moment. Number one is anything about wellness, so particularly gyms. I think ako po personally, nag-subscribe ako sa gym last quarter of 2022. So because iba yung naging effect na I need to be healthy, parang ganyan. Yung ganun yung naging effect ng pandemic. You need to really exert all effort not to be healthy. So I think that's one. And then second will be pharmacies. I think ang laki pa rin ng opportunity for pharmacies in the Philippines alone, especially for provincial areas. In Metro Manila, pharmacies um, might be a bit tight na, no? But if you're located in the province and you think that your community needs that type of service, it's a very good business kasi very minimal spoilage. The inventory then can last, up to how many years. So I guess those are my two favorites: wellness, pharmacy business, or in medicines, or if faster ROI than food.
Okay. Anybody else would like to share before we end today?
Yeah. I'll add lang, Miss Tats, no? Um,
Sure.
Kasi ang exciting din ngayon is that the franchisors also are very generous. After pandemic, 'di ba? Medyo yung expansion parang na-hold no for some of the brands. And they've seen also that a lot of the potential franchisees kasi nagkaroon ng maraming retrenchment, for example, no, nawala ng work, and some also parang naisip nila, hindi pala ako, I can get job and stay at home, and especially for young mothers. So what can be also interesting is that a lot of franchisor brands, kung dati they just focus on the brick and mortar store operations, now there are also a lot of options and investment packages na mababa. Oo. So just reach out to us, and we can help you come up with your own list kung ano yung mga franchisors na ready to give you those packages. Katulad halimbawa, may mga franchisor for retail, there has become franchise distribution packages. There are also franchises that they can operate from home. So maraming concepts yung lumabas na very exciting and makes it easier for our kababayans to invest with just a smaller footprint and a smaller investment startups.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been so fruitful. We're over time, but I think it's well worth it, especially now. I think this good time, beginning of the year, to get excited about something, to plan our futures, and to, yes, maybe get into investment in 2023, the year of the rabbit. So,
Yeah.
before we end, I would like to call the lead organizer for this event and thank all of you. Thank you so much. This is a Saturday and you're here with us today, and you're here with everybody here in Singapore. So, Joey Pesilier, please give us your closing remarks.
Ay, narinig niyo po ako? Can you hear?
Yes, we can hear you. Yep.
Thank you very much for attending and spending your Saturday po. We really appreciate. I think we need to do a second version of this seminar. Do you agree?
Yes, I think so. Bitin.
Bitin nga, oo nga eh. So I think more details for our part 2. So let me close the session. On behalf of my fellow founding members of the Philippine Chamber of Commerce in Singapore, so we want to thank you, our audience, for spending your time in attending this seminar. Hope that the speakers provided the basic knowledge and insights about franchising in the Philippines and leads you towards the road of being an entrepreneur, a franchisee in the near future. We would like to also thank all our partners. Salamat po sa inyong lahat who have contributed to make this talk a success, to the Embassy of the Republic of the Philippines in Singapore, under the leadership of our Charge d'Affaires and Consul General Dr. Emmanuel Fernandez, Commercial Counselor, Philippine Trade and Investment Center, Singapore, Attorney Carla Grepo, Philippine Franchise Association Chairman, Ms. Cheryl Quintana, salamat po. Francorp Philippines Group Marketing Manager, Ms. Bel Manuel, thanks a lot. Franchise Relation Officer of Orispa, Miss Gianna Ilagan. Hope your product will come to Singapore soon. Franchise Consultant, EU Franchise Sales and Management, Miss Camille Malto. So thank you very much. And lastly, our technical consultant who is helping us in this broadcast, June, Mr. June Raganan, Operator J, very much thank you. And we give special mention to our own PhilCham member, Tats Loxin, for being our moderator. And behind the scene, Ella Garcia, our technical assistant and in charge of marketing. So maraming salamat po. As we all know, this 2023 is the year of the rabbit. In Chinese culture, the rabbit is a symbol of longevity, peace, and prosperity. So from us to you, we wish everyone longevity, prosperity, and hoping for peace around the world. Lastly, June can flash the QR code. Yeah. So lastly, give us your feedbacks, comments, and suggestions by scanning this QR code. It will be of help to us to plan our next event. With that, have a great weekend everyone and maraming salamat po. Thank you very much guys. Hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Yes, thank you so much. See you soon.
Hopefully can meet you in Philippines.
Yes, Christina and Sharon here from PhilCham. They've hosted me, I think, 6 or 8 years ago. So
Wow.
a lot of friends in PhilCham.
Okay. Happy weekend. June, over to you.